Hi everyone, Cindy Squirrel here. Well, remember those cast iron pots and pans that Bobby got me at the garage sale? Well, this one, it's not too bad, just rusted up. I think this is going to be an easy clean. The bread pan doesn't, I think it's just mainly surface rust. So I'm going to start off with pure vinegar soak. I put them in a pot, put a whole jug of vinegar in there, and I'm just going to let it sit for a while and probably add some baking soda to it, and we'll be back. As you can tell, I put some baking soda in there, and we'll let the two vinegar, baking soda, let them do their job. Okay, I let it sit overnight, and it was funny because I got up at 1 o'clock this morning because I could hear something burping in the kitchen, and it was burping. So let's look. I haven't looked. Let's see what this bread pan looks like. Oh. Look at that. Whoa, do you see that? This is just really fine steel wool that I'm using. Wow. Where did all the particles go? Look at that. Do you see the difference? See the difference? The rust there and the one easy little wipe. I will just wipe this all and I'll go rinse it off and I'll be back. I just can't believe I've used lye before and this is just vinegar, and look at that. Just wipe it off. Now this, of course, was just rusty. It wasn't too bad, but this is amazing. This is so much easier than using lye. I washed it out really good, and I put a light coat of oil on it just so it doesn't rust while I go on to the next one. And I was surprised I only burnt myself 3 times doing that bread pan. What I did was I put it on the burner to dry it completely, because when you dry it with a paper towel you might miss something. And then when it's hot I put on the oil, and of course because it's a bread pan and you're close, of course I kept touching my knuckles. So here is the other pot, and still it's not too bad, and we'll put it in the vinegar and baking soda overnight, and we will see what that looks like in the morning. Okay, so the cast iron came out really nice. I'm down to the silver. I had to use like an SOS pad to get any of the really deep stuff, but just the vinegar worked well. It took about a week to get everything all off. I kept taking them out, scrubbing a little bit more, setting them back in, but yeah, they worked out well. And now that I'm down to the bare iron, and what I did was when I got one piece done, I dried it like I usually dry it on the burner, and then just lightly oiled it, and then brought it up to smoke and left it. Otherwise it would re-rust on me while I was working on the next piece. And then that one I just got at a garage sale, I got all the rust spots off of it, and I'm going to put a light coat, and I use lard. I find for seasoning is best to use a solid. So I use lard instead of the olive oil or something like that. And you got to make sure you've got all of it done, and even the bottom, because you're going to season the bottom, otherwise it's going to rust. Season your handle, season every part of it. My oven is at about 250, I think, because mine is a gas oven and it starts at 300. It's a bit lower than that. And you're going to put them in on a cookie sheet upside down so that you don't have any pooling of the oil in your dish. It will drain onto the cookie sheet once it gets hot. And so I'm going to put them in the oven, and I'm going to put them in there for an hour, and then I'll turn off the oven until they're cool enough for me to touch, and I'll do another go. It might take me 2 or 3 times to do this until I think that they're perfect. There we go. The cast iron is finally finished. I did it 3 times. The first time it was on a low heat. The second time I upped it to 350 degrees. After an hour, you flip everything over, and then I shut off the oven, let it cool down enough to handle. I put another coating of lard on there, put it back in a hot oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour, and then I picked up everything and turned it over. You always start off with everything upside down and then flip it over. Ooh, still warm. And then after an hour, you flip it over. And then that way, because if there's anything wet on the cookie sheet, it's not going to cure around the edge. I'm a little happy with this. This isn't my best job, but to test to see if it's ready, that's not sticky. If your fingers were sticking to that, it's not cured enough. Okay. Well, I'll give it a go. I'll see how they are for non-stick. And if they do stick, I'll put them back in the oven again for another go.